I can only hope that people will queue to see me at every premiere and event I attend, despite my flaws, cracks and bricks. There are a lot of them. She came to the loo in pieces, but people still lined up to see her laugh, in response to everyone who hates me when I win the winged victory. Thus, the Snow White produce. Yes, but wait, things get worse. Whoa, everyone loves me. The choice to intensify the cringe was made by her buddy Ella. Rachel gave a dramatic scream, yes, an Oscar-level scream, as if she had just won an Oscar when her name was shown on the screen. How did Rachel act? Ma'am, she chuckled nervously and applauded for herself. She was relishing the false glory of her box office success despite the film's bombing and destruction by critics. Giggles, failure in music. People started to question whether the theater had been rented at this point because a legitimate movie screening couldn't possibly be this empty, but these individuals had the audacity to confidently approach the Regal counter and ask for 2 tickets, making sure their brief appearance was caught on video. A bouquet of flowers, a participation trophy, if you will, was seen in Rachel's hand as if this mess wasn't enough. Her equally delusional friends likely gave it to her as a consolation prize for starring in one of Disney's biggest box office failures after the studio spent an astounding $250 million on the film. Instead of accepting the fact that Snow White had officially become one of the biggest failures in Disney history, Rachel chose to double down. As it turns out, Snow White is officially ranked as the worst movie of all time, with 1.8 people on the internet believing that it should be even worse. I don't disagree with that, and I don't think Disney could have found 7 actors to play the iconic 7 dwarfs. The fact that they literally took jobs for a role that is really hard for these kinds. Oh, we've all seen how it ended, and let's face it, the lackluster appearance of the movie didn't keep people from seeing it. It was meant to be your big moment, babe, love, ma'am. Rachel basically ruined her own career before the film even came out by scaring off audiences before they had a chance to even consider seeing it. She went on a tirade about how Prince Charming was being cut out of the story, saying that the whole idea of a prince saving a princess was strange. What's even stranger is that you're trashing a story that made you famous in the first place. I know that you've previously told me that your version of Snow White is different and that it's more of a 2022 version of the classic. What did you mean by that? I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937 and very evidently so, there is a big focus on her love story, with a guy who literally stalks her weird, so we didn't do that this time. But did she stop there? Of course not. She then decided to go after Trump supporters, declaring that they would never know peace. Well, guess what? It turns out she's the one who doesn't know peace now because the internet. Naturally, when collaborating with Gal Dow, who, let's not forget, is from Israel, Rachel Zegler made a public declaration in favor of Palestine. Because no one knew what Rachel would do next, that is, whether this was an activist campaign or a Disney movie, there was a lot of pushback, and Disney hurried to provide Gal more security. After revealing the first official Snow White trailer at Disney's D23 fan event, Rachel Zegler thanked her fans in an X post. A minute later, she added an afterthought. After all of this chaos, Disney's worst fears were realized when the figurines eventually arrived. Not only was Snow White a flop, but it was an unprecedented disaster. People deliberately boycotted the movie rather than merely avoiding it, which meant that Disney's live action when Snow White made her premiere this past weekend, Disney decided to minimize the humiliation, and boy, did it flop harder than Dumbo with the writing on the wall. After the fanfare was substantially cut, the premiere was toned down, and the European premiere was held in an unnamed castle in northern Spain. People started to wonder if this was a ploy to avoid criticism or if Disney themselves had lost faith in the picture. Despite spending an incredible $270 million on the film, Disney decided to have a low-key, midday premiere in Los Angeles on Saturday with no press coverage. The real question is how Disney did not see this coming given all the warning signs, even though Rachel Zegler's behind-the-scenes shenanigans surely played a big part in the movie's failure. Even if Snow White was a total failure, there is already a Hollywood scandal in the pipeline, making this not merely a failure for Rachel but also a historic loss for Disney. Following their exposure for creating baseless allegations of harassment, fans are also boycotting Ryan Reynolds and his wife Blake Lively. Regarding Rachel, kindly leave your thoughts in the space provided for comments below. Would you accept an apology if Disney ended their ties with Rachel? I can only hope that people will queue to see me at every premiere and event I attend, despite my flaws, cracks and bricks, there are a lot of them. She came to the loo in pieces, but people still lined up to see her laugh, in response to everyone who hates me when I win the winged victory. Thus, the Snow White producer Disney,